Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the update coming out from Syria. And this focus for this video is actually on uh, the Syrian government's fighting against some of these rebel forces in the Aleppo region. So there is a drone strike reported at Sukelabia, and it's pretty unknown who are the ones that launched the drones. I believe is this HTS or the Syrian Salvation Government or the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. So there's a drone strike reported around this region here. So and then along the front line, there's a very complicated region here because uh there is the Syrian National Army or the former Free Syrian Army operating in certain regions around here. Yet the rest of the region is actually controlled by the HTS and the Syrian Salvation Government. We have all this confusion between who is actually controlling what thing. Then we have this peace or security corridor. There is a co-managed by the Turkish forces and the Russian forces. So there's this 6 kilometers corridor from both sides along the highway. So there's this major highway going around here. So the map looks extremely complicated around this region. So there is fighting reported between on the Shell al-Agrab plains between the SNA and the Syrian army on the 19th of January, where a Syrian soldier is actually sniped by the HTS, or sorry, who is this? The Al-Fayt al-Mibin operating room faction, basically the SNA. Basically, just know them as SNA. Sometimes all these are very detailed naming and very egoistic naming is just pointless. They are just SNA. They sniped one of these Syrian soldiers over at the region between Al Bara and Kansafra. There was a offensive reported. So the HTS actually launched an attack on the Syrian government positions, and the massive attack was actually repelled by the Syrian government forces. All this fighting is flaring up because Turkey is warming their relationship with Syria, and all these rebel groups that was previously backed by Turkey is feeling very unnerved by this development between Turkey and Syria. So they because of this uncertainty, they are actually launching more attacks against the Syrian government side so that they can actually control more territory or something, or actually try to assert their positions bigger, or maybe to make the Syrian government side think that the Turkish are behind the orders for all these attacks, so that they can actually derail the negotiation. So fighting was reported between HTS. So HTS, in case you do not know, is actually the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. So between the HTS and the Syrian government forces, where they are fighting in the outskirts of Sarakib. So Sarakib is here. So in the north of Sarakib, this is actually the region bordering the area controlled by the rebel forces. And on the 19th, this happened again. This time around is by a sniper. A government soldier was sniped and killed north of Sarakib. So where else and then there's this very weird news. On the 4th of January, a Hezbollah military leader was actually assassinated in Idlib region by HTS forces. So according to Ansamed.info, a member of the Hezbollah, which is from Lebanon, was killed in a bomb attack attributed to the HTS. So the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the SOHR, which we will see a lot in the Syrian reports, reported that the attack happened and was carried out by the men of the HTS, and which is collision of Al-Qaeda forces present in the region of Idlib. So they are not sure what is the reason and or the identity of this high-level Lebanese Hezbollah militia. What is only known was that he was killed with 3 other bodyguards. One of them was Syrian and another one was Lebanese. So which means that this region here, despite it's not really controlled by the Syrian government, you are some say terrorist person may not survive another terrorist region. So quite complicated, the politics between the rebel forces and the terrorist groups within this region. Shelling was reported at Kafir Noran, according to Syrian HR, where 2 members of this HTS was killed by this shelling report. And there is also exchanges of fighting reported near Kafir Tal, where the National Liberation Front defended against Syrian government infiltration attempts or attacks. Whereas then there was on the 19th of January, fighting was reported near al Kubra. So al Kubra is actually here. So they're fighting, I believe it's still fighting along the border region, somewhat a bit of distance away, around 1-2 kilometers away from the city itself. And so five soldiers from the Syrian government side was killed in this attack by the HTS, and on the HTS side, 3 of them was taken out by a separate report by the Syrian HR. So fighting around here, no land actually taken. It's more like a skirmish kind of thing. And a bombardment was reported at Tadil on the 19th of January, according to Syrian HR. And moving further up north, we have a bombardment reported at Mayasa or El Mayasa. This, however, is attributed by the Turkish forces firing rockets at the village. So, and moving away, this other fighting is between the SDF and the Turks, so it's not the focus of this video. Over at the south of Elbab, so at south of Elbab, there's fighting reported between the Syrian forces and the SNA, the Syrian National Army, and which is previously also known as the Free Syrian Army as well. So there's fighting reported around here with heavy machine guns shooting at each other. So there are also exploding houses and everything. So this happened on the 6th of January. On the 16th of January, 10 days later, fighting flared up around this region as well, again near Tadif. So again, it's machine guns firing at each other. So and there's also artillery being used between on both sides. But largely the kind of fighting here is still much akin to skirmish than real ground offensive on both sides. And what else? So this all comes after the Syrian army started to military build up their military around the region. So on the 11th of December last month, they have been building up forces around the border region between them and the Turkish side. This reinforcement was also reported south of Manbij, which is actually around here. So just next to the river. So the Syrians has been expecting something to happen as well. But the position of some of this reinforcement is kind of suspect, because this one is a bit far away from the front line. Just yesterday, the Russians and the Syrians have reopened the Al Jarrah military airbase. So this is the Jira airbase or the Al Jarrah airbase, and from now on, this airbase will be used as a joint airbase between Russia and Syria. And they have so according to the report, the Russian and Syrian military personnel have restored the destroyed airbase. So now this is a new military base for the Russian side. And as you can see, all these pink icons where the distribution of the Russian military outposts, they are moving further and further north and towards the east. Previously, they were around the homes and along the seashore. At this time now, they're moving further up north, and they do have a military base here already, just west of Manbij. So it's actually here. It's a small one. It's nothing like the American ones. It's good enough for them to do the patrols, and there is also shelling reported from Manbij countryside. So this was actually artillery fired by the regular Syrian regular forces against positions of the Turkish forces and their allies, the rebel allies, which is actually the SNA. So not very important. It's just some shelling report. And in another recent news, just 2 days ago, there's a joint Russian-Turkish patrol reported from Garib village, which is actually here. So they started patrolling from here on the eastern side of Kobani, or in El Kobani. I just know it as Kobani anyway. So they are patrolling along this region, this border region here that is actually controlled by the Syrian government. The Turkish forces will not be able to go into this region where the SDF is actually having a control. So which is why the patrol actually starts here, and they are probably going around this region here. And yeah, I think that's about it. The Syrian government don't really have much presence within the western side of the country. They do have positions like this border region here is actually controlled by the Syrian army, and this zone here, this military base here, the Kaukab military base is also under the Syrian government control exclusively. Otherwise, the rest of the region is actually controlled largely by the Rojava governments, or this transparent region is actually a joint controlled by the Rojava government and the Syrian government. So somewhat of a complication. Yeah, so as we continue to report and go along, if you're not sure, just comment and ask questions. I'll try to answer as best as I can based on my research. And anyway, this is the situation over at Syria between the Syrian government side and the rebel forces. The fighting is likely to continue to escalate as the rebels are getting more and more unnerved and uncertain about and paranoid about their future, because the Turks are turning their backs on them. They did try to ask. So let me show you. The Syrian oppositions did actually meet with the Turkish foreign minister. They are very worried. They actually talked to the Turkish, to ask, probably ask what the hell the Turkey is actually doing now. And of course, the Turks will just lie to them and tell them whatever they want to know. But the Turks have their own strategic objective within Syria, and with the prime focus on the suppression of the Kurdish people and the forces within Syria itself. So anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the subscribe button, do press the like button, and let me know in the comments what do you think about the reports from Syria, and any suggestions, or or just to say something nice to encourage me to continue, because this is indeed a very underreported and ignored region by many measures. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.